I'm Dwyane Wade, and this is the Cube. 15 feet of steel-edge plexiglass standing between you and $250,000. With cutting-edge technology, high-pressure gameplay, and a mind of his own. I'm not here to make friends.
So Saturn was especially celebrated during the festival of Saturnalia each December. And we already know that the modern day version of Saturnalia is Christmas. Perhaps the most famous of the Roman festivals, a time of feasting, role reversals, free speech, gift giving, and revelry. The Temple of Saturn in the Roman Forum housed the state treasury and archives of the Roman Republic and the early Roman Empire. The planet Saturn and the day of the week Saturday are both named after and were associated with him. And this is something that we already know, but for those of you who don't know, this is why I wanted to go over it. As well as what you heard in the beginning of the video where the cube was talking, quote unquote. That's an allusion to Hermes, the messenger god, which is an equivalent to Saturn. And the understanding of these things is all relevant because this is the time that we're living in. So I just wanted to get more into it. Ice Cube. That name right there is an allusion to Saturn. Obviously with the understanding of the cube as it pertains to Saturn as well as ice. And it's also alchemical, going back to the elements of fire and ice. Ice representing the blue, fire representing the red. Ice representing Saturn as well as the moon. And water, fire representing the sun. So these Luciferian elements, these Luciferian motifs, they're everywhere. And as I always say, in these last days, it's going to become more and more glaring because that's how prophecy works. And it just lends credence to the understanding of the scriptures and, the validity of the Heavenly Father. Ice Cube, a message to the entire black world. To all black people, no matter the hue, whenever you see the black cube, it represents you. Find out why. Now, I don't know how legit this post is because you have this image here on the bottom right. Saturn is a secret god of the occult world. Yes, he is. And it's crazy because you see it now. Like, it's more and more revelatory and people, they don't even question it. Like, you see goats and all these different music videos and segments on, TV shows and whatnot, where you have the goat. The goat represents Saturn, or Saturn worship, it represents goat worship. Goes back to Pan, the Roman god Saturn, Khnum, the Baphomet, the many different composites of the goat, all comes from the same fount in regards to ancient paganism. This is what they worship in this society. This is what they push in this society. These celebrities, they impose these Luciferian ideologies on the masses because it's all a part of the great work. Trying to mimic that Tower of Babel. Shit is crazy. And you always see Ice Cube wearing all black. You already know the black represents Saturn. You always see Ice Cube wearing all black. So he's like an ardent Luciferian. This is why he's able to get all the deals he gets, when it comes to movie deals and whatnot. This is why he's been so relevant. Because he's someone who's aligned with that dark world, man. And he's willing to do anything. At least when it comes to, pushing that vibration. At least when it comes to his understanding of the oath. I'm not going to say he's willing to do anything in terms of, that depravity, sexual depravity and whatnot, but you never know. But he's someone who lets you know, just based off of these connections in terms of how black represents Saturn, his name, so on and so forth, that he's someone who's a big-time Saturnian, big-time Luciferian. That's what he is. And just going back to the Dwyane Wade element, just to put it all in context. Like I said, the cube represents Saturn. He wore all blue in season 1, as well as, this season, in the debut episode, or in the first episode, to let you know what it all represents in context. The blue represents Saturn, the black represents Saturn, and the purple represents Saturn. And this is why they wear these, certain colors just based off of the representation, the signaling, the alignment, so on and so forth. Dwyane Wade introduces the cube, 15 square feet of steel-edged plexiglass, where simple tasks become challenges. Teams have 9 lives to win 7 games to beat the cube for a chance to walk away with $250,000. Now, the first episode date was June 10th. Pay attention to June 10th. 6 times 10 is 60. Obviously, the number 6 is prominent based off of the understanding when it comes to the Luciferian numerology. Number 6 represents the 6th planet from the sun, that being Saturn. And the connection between Saturn and the sun, that being prevalent, as well as 6 plus 1. Because the 0 acts as a placeholder in most cases in regards to the conveyance. So 6 plus 1 is 7. Number 7 is also a number that represents Saturn, because it's the 7th planet, period, but the 6th from the sun. So 7 representing Saturn, as well as the Shekinah, the cube, so on and so forth. And this is why you have, this aspect where the contestants, they have 7 games to beat, and they have 9 lives. You turn that 9 upside down, that's 6. So the understanding is there in regards to the Luciferian element meeting numerology. So Dwyane Wade is someone who is willing to do anything to get the things that he needs to, propel and excel in Hollywood. If you get a game show, you become a host on a game show or any show, that means you had to do something. You had to compromise yourself. And we already know what he had to do just on the surface. We already saw what he did with his young son, turning him out. They're going to love you for stuff like that. They're going to give you all the deals you need, all the deals you want. That's why he's part owner of the Jazz. That's why he got this game show. Not only because of what he did with his son, but that's a big, big, big part of it. Now, this is the Kaaba stone. This is another form of Saturnian worship, believe it or not. Because the Kaaba stone and the cube of Saturn are connected. Or the quote-unquote hexagon of Saturn, they're connected. You see, it's black, and it represents the worship of the goat. That's what it represents. It represents the worship of the goat. I'm not disrespecting Islam or anything like that. It's just the truth. The Most High tells us not to worship stones and graven images. And these people, they walk around in a circle praying to a cube. Like, it's not something that you're supposed to do, man. It's not of any sort of righteousness pertaining to the Heavenly Father. Like, it's just not.
So Jimmy called me out. I woke up early. Tell him win before you start lying at the camera. Tell him who won. Can I finish? Go ahead. I woke up early, barely stressed. Came down here and I competed. He had a great teammate. Now look, let me tell you how this really went. I carried my team. Wayne is good. I'm not saying Wayne's bad, but I carried the team. That's what they got me here reserve.
Yo, these dudes, man, they love to wear these gay ass brief shorts. Like, what the hell is these shorts this nigga got on? And look at Dwyane Wade's shorts. He got on a goddamn leopard print. We already know what that represents when it comes to the programming angle. The sexualization. That's what it represents. You being overly sexualized. This is why he always wear these zesty ass clothes. Where he got his chest out and shit. Like, this dude is a fucking zest master. He's a zesty ass dude. That's why he got these goddamn leopard print brief shorts on. Like, these niggas got on boxers, man. Like, it's crazy, man. I just wanted to add this just for context in regards to the understanding. Dwyane Wade is someone who's being passed around or has been passed around. And just based off of certain stories that's been told, you always got to put things in proper context when it comes to Dwyane Wade. And it makes so much sense, especially when you see what he's done with his son. So let's get into that. This right here is the reason why Dwyane Wade is able to have a show. This right here is the reason why Dwyane Wade is able to have co-ownership or some sort of ownership, percentage-wise, with the Utah Jazz. This is why Dwyane Wade is someone who is relevant, heavily relevant right now because of what he's done with his son. You see him right here with the all black on. Proud. This is disgusting, man. And it just shows you the world we live in. You know, where these things are acceptable and it's okay. This honestly should be a crime. It really should be a crime. This is how you know we live in an upside down world, man.